Steven Grip.
Hey, what's up, guys? How we doing? We are here remote here in Dallas, Texas, getting ready for the 8% conference. We've been up and running, and we came out hot out of the gate, 8 o'clock in the morning. Already had 3 sales, about to get a 4th. So it's been a fun transition. So we're very excited to keep everything going. So it's good to see everybody. Hope everybody's doing well. If you can see everyone else on the phone, staying busy. It's been an awesome morning.
Tell us about how it's been using the software remotely.
Oh, it's been seamless. It's been so easy. We thought that it would be some hiccups at the beginning. There was none. It was just right into it, super easy. Helping each other out.
Guys, we're live right now if you want to come join the dojo.
It's dojo time?
Yeah, we're just talking about the software. It's what a great transition. It's very exciting to just make everything easy. So, what up?
To see if we can concentrate.
Well, I'm not on a call right now. I'm about to get on one, but no, it's been really. It's actually been kind of fun to see how easy the transition was to do the software. It was really good. I've been doing this for a while, so it's nice to see it's kind of like a breath of fresh air. Just getting right into it and just moving right along. I like how it works along with the phone call itself.
Yeah.
So, I can actually have a conversation with somebody and not have to navigate and make these, awkward, maneuvers within the call and within the script. It's really great.
That's awesome. So
Yeah.
we literally packed the truck up. We got headsets here
Yeah.
for calls. We've got leads coming in live. We've got everybody working. This is so cool.
Yeah. Once Buckley gets a chance, he can turn the camera around. We got people on the side over here. See people working over there. And what's even greater is that we have people on the way. We have a whole other house on the other side ready to be filled up. So this is just the morning crew. The afternoon crew momentarily. They are on their way. They're en route.
So I wonder if hi guys, I'm gonna come over here. Can we turn this just a little bit and Frank and I can stand here? There we go. Sales
Yeah, you got
dojo.
me on there.
We're live on the dojo. What else you got going on? What are you excited for about 8%?
Honestly, I've only seen Brandon speak in videos.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be excited to
clips.
see our clips. Yeah. Right. So, I've been working with him for 6 months.
Get back over here. Back up so we can.
There you go.
YouTube grip a little bit.
I think I'm okay.
Just a touch.
Okay. No, like I said, I got hired by him. I've been working closely with him, but I've never seen him on stage live to him talk about, what he talks about. But what's going to be exciting about seeing that is he's going to be talking about something that he's passionate about. He's endorsing, he's created. And, I know he's a very eloquent speaker. So it's that's exciting for me.
Yeah. I'm excited too because he's, we get a little bit of pushback, well, he's not online, so what can he know, right? Because that's how we think. Like, if we don't see it online, then it's not true. But at the same time, we're like, but I saw it online, so it's likely not true. So I'm really excited for people to get to see him and get to know how passionate he is about essentially saving the business, the Medicare business as a whole.
Well, the cool thing about being an innovation or an industry disruptor is that they don't come in hot. They come in under the radar because when they do pop up, they overtake everything.
Yeah.
So that's what's going to be really exciting to see when he comes out and everything's released and he comes and gives his speeches. Like, that's going to be really exciting to see. And for me to be a part of it, that's what is very exciting too. Because I think the same way. I'm not a flashy guy. I'm not making videos, or I'm not out there getting crazy. And I like just laying low. Let you guys do your thing, and we come out and explode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So cool. Did you ruin it?
No, I don't think so.
My hair looks perfect too. Wait. What about you, Guy?
Well,
Let me get a drink while you answer.
I don't know. Everyone kind of talks about industry disruptors and stuff like that. I personally think the industry was already disrupted in a negative way, and I'm just eager to get us back to where we need to be. I'm tired of, listen, the world's awash in people that tell you how to do what you want to do and never done it themselves.
Yeah.
But the fact of the matter remains that this morning we were able to come in, most of us traveling late last night. I didn't get in until about 2 o'clock in the morning myself. And right away this morning, using our software and using our technology, we were able to log in with a bunch of regular laptops and get to work right away.
And
We
what's
already have
so cool
sales,
is,
so.
like everybody, like she's on a sales call right now. Like this isn't bullshit. Like it's literally happening.
Right.
And that's what I love. You know, when I walked into the Medicare Gurus office, and of course we're talking about the sister company insurance sales and all of the stuff we're launching with the insurance tech stack. I walked into the office and I was like, oh my god, this is like my worst night. Like everybody's moving around, like it's hot. How can you ever concentrate on a sale or a call? And I'm somebody that talks loud,
Right.
unlike Jacob Karate, right?
Right.
I call him Jacob Karate.
Yeah, the
Where you
Karate
at?
Kid.
Anyway.
He's on his way.
So I thought it would be like my worst nightmare, but even doing this right now, like we're having our conversation, they're having their conversation, and it's a really cool dynamic when you get into it, because then you kind of want to sell more, right? Like you don't want to be the quiet guy on the floor either.
Yeah. No, this type of environment is very welcoming because, I mean, we've worked with each other, you know, some short period of time, some long period of time, but it's just very organic. You know, it's not an environment where it's like sales, do it, you know, crack the whip. It's like we all are organically working together and kind of like a tribe.
Yeah.
You know, looking out for each other.
We don't even have a whip. We don't even have a whip.
Yeah.
So
Well, like you got Frank.
Yeah. Frank is his boisterous voice coming through is whip-like.
I told somebody the other, you were in that meeting. I was like, you're late to the meeting. You have to hear 10 of Frank's jokes.
Right.
That was your penalty.
And Frank's jokes
Oh,
can
hey,
range
Frank's
from pleasant to very, very crass.
Very dark.
Yeah.
Hi, we didn't see you sooner there. It reminds me of The Office, literally, like
Oh,
The
yeah.
Office, the television show,
Yeah.
right?
We all have our personalities.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I love it. It's really cool.
Yeah. It is definitely a cool place to work.
And so, Frank, tell us about how are we getting on these calls? Are we cold calling? Are we?
It's a mixture of both outbound and inbound calls. This morning we had a flux of inbound calls.
So how are you getting inbound calls when you're in an Airbnb that looks kind of like you have to walk through somebody's backyard to get here?
Well, I mean, our software allows us to do that. So not only do we have a soft phone, which allows us to tie into anywhere, but we also have our CRM, which is remote accessible, that allows all the quoting tools and now the ability to link in with the appropriate apps and everything. So it makes it really easy. So we refined a lot of this capability. We'd already had a lot of it in place before even the pandemic happened, and then we were able to really test it out there, and it was able to work out really well. So
if you had it where everybody got sick at the office, you could set this up.
Yeah.
Here. Like if I wanted to stay home because my son was sick, I could say, hey, I'm gonna stay home, but I could still work the entire day.
yeah, absolutely, and that's the whole point.
This isn't. I'm not bullshitting you guys. Like I did this. These are real questions. This isn't an interview.
Yeah. So the key is that the whole point of what we've been developing over years and years was to be able to break out and take technology that used to be only available to large call centers. I mean, that was the only people that could do it. And go, okay, well, if I can do all this at a call center, why can't I do it at my home? Why can't I do it at a one-person agency, 5-person agency, or anything like that? Why does it have to cost $200,000 or $400 a seat or anything like that? That prevents agents from getting into the marketplace. That prevents agents from getting into a critical area that's needed, which is Medicare. Right? There's barely any Medicare specialists in the country. Barely. So, and now everyone's scrambling to get into it because it's 10,000 today, 64. There's 64 million Medicare eligibles right now. So I pulled up the numbers. You're able to get all of them. So the barrier for entry, and what we find is that you would have the old One Health, the eHealth, all these other guys. They're the ones that had the technology suites, but their technology wasn't even really proficient. It was just, can I run a phone center? Can I get a whole bunch of people in there and set up a big trunk line and a big call center? You don't need that. You don't. If an agent can go out on a tablet to a local person's house and do a signature there, that's what we need to get back to, and be able to do it on the phone. So taking all the technology and not hoarding it, which we kind of have been. I mean, we've been hoarding it. We just looked around and said, oh crap, all this stuff we built because it didn't exist when we built it.
This is Penny. How can I
Right?
help?
Anyone that's bought Salesforce can tell you that Oh, it can do almost anything. If you're willing to pay $40,000 for the consultation and for the sign up. Oh, and if you're willing to pay per seat every month and all this other stuff. That's prohibitive.
Hi, this is Penny.
Especially if you're starting out, I'm not sure how this is gonna work. If you can minimize all that cost up front and you can actually get to work and get selling
How I
right
can
away.
help you, maybe I
And
can
opening up
make
all
things
your lead
better for
avenues,
you.
you should be able to make cold calls. You should be able to take inbound calls. You should be able to get web-generated leads off your own site. You should be able to do all this stuff and conduct your business how your business needs to be conducted, not how you just can take it. Then what's your oyster? I mean, you have no idea how many people I talked to at the previous 8% conference, at all the other conferences I've been to, and they're like, oh wait, how do you sell on the phone? It's pretty easy. You do it just the exact way you do it over like face to face, and then the e-signatures on the company's e-signature site.
I'm worried for all of us.
And I think there's a big gateway for entry because it's not because they don't know how or they don't think how. It's very easy to do. It's because there hasn't been the availability of that bridge and that gap. And there's a lot of other things that are really intimidating. If I'm a small agency, I don't need 55 reports. And a lot of the other softwares out there are built by guys who are call center managers
I
that
guess
don't.
you must have Medicare A and B.
As an agent, I need to be able to go get my lead or import my leads, get my lead,
Oh,
figure out who
wonderful.
I should be
That
selling
really
for,
helps.
what's the product. If I'm contracted, to be able to sign up and get contracted for it, right? I gotta make a quote, I gotta do an app, and then I gotta store what I sold them.
Okay.
And maybe make some calendar appointments for follow-up and things of that nature. It's not that hard.
Yeah.
So-
We do overcomplicate things, but you also have the tech stack, so.
Well, when
Yeah.
you're paying $40,000,
Yeah.
it's got to look busy.
Yeah, exactly.
And the other thing that you run into is that the ones that are out there that aren't that expensive, they still don't do what you want.
Yeah.
And it's just crazy.
So I'm interested, before Brandon gets here and does his stuff and we set up the booth and we have conversations with people one-on-one, one of the pieces I'm hearing on the publicity side of things is, you know, this is bullshit, this is a, you know, it's a version of Go High Level and you guys are just trying to bring people in to recruit them. So I would love to hear your guys' perspective of the insurance service tech stack that's coming out and why,
That helps, because you must.
or, you know, what do you guys hope to see come out of it? Do you hope to fill up, you know, to recruit every single agent that's out there in America?
Or count that, they sure do.
What is Go High Level? I don't know what it is.
It's a lead nurture system, actually.
Although you said you
CRM.
wouldn't have trouble with it, or not,
Yeah.
not.
Is that where you just
paying
kind
the way
of move
there's-
leads along, or is that like a sales flow process? Or?
It's not a sales flow process. No.
Oh,
So
okay.
I mean, it can be if you kind of piece it together that way.
Really?
But what's your new title?
I have many hats.
Many
So I
hats,
do
okay.
recruiting, I do training, I do a bunch of stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. But I also sell.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
You sold one this
So,
Yeah.
so what are your thoughts on, you know, why are you excited to see this go out into the world, just in all transparency?
So,
Lord.
you know, being familiar with the CRM, I really think that, you know, the level of growth is going to be exciting to see.
Mhm.
You know, with Medicare especially, it is a highly regulated entity, you know? Like, it's not like selling, you know, any type of product where you'd be like, all right, transaction's super easy. There are steps that you need to take, you know? But the way that this software handles that in its magnitude is what is going to be able to, you as an agent, make some real money. Not like, you know, just one or two deals a week, or maybe even like 6 or 8 a month, which people do out there are contented. Because of the amount of reach out ability that you get, the amount of contacts they have with Medicare and CM and FMOs and whoever they're working with. But for this place,
Anything.
like Frank was telling me, like, we are an independent enrollment center.
Very, very tight.
Like, we are not a brokerage. Yes, we have brokerage capabilities. We work with different carriers. But there's a difference when you walk into a brokerage and they can only offer you catalogs.
Yeah.
Like, you come to us and we can offer you anything. And where we start from is not what we can offer you, it's what do you need? And what makes us really good is not just the CRM or the capabilities, but the way that the business is run, which is we are authentically here for you. because we can give you whatever you want. It's our job to not only give you what you want, but help you understand what you don't know, and then give you what you may not have needed that you kind of do need. So that's what I'm fascinated with, is just we could just offer any type of good software to do it, and we're just a one-stop shop, but an authentic one-stop shop.
So it allows agents, no matter who they're licensed, not licensed. Appointed with, thank you.
Yeah.
No matter who they're appointed with, whether it's Medicare Gurus or Bob's
Is that
Medicare shop,
Right.
they can get the same level of volume that you guys are getting
Yeah.
without having to
Exactly.
do so much labor.
Yeah.
And that's one of the biggest
And to just to
things.
wrap up on
Yeah.
that, you can grow at your own pace.
Yes.
You know, if you are an experienced agent, you have the capability to scale very quickly, as you are witnessing live.
It's
But
not
if
the
you have
latest
somebody
iPhone,
that's
we know that
brand
much.
new to it and you want a career change, what a better way to start here, where you have all the essential
But see,
tools.
you're in
Yes.
That's what's exciting.
Washington.
And there's also
What is
another
your
concept
situation?
here, which is really important, because I've looked at a lot of software that's out there, and keep in mind, we started building this stuff internally years ago, and we reskinned it, and we've actually built some capabilities for people outside, but
And
the issue that you run into is
She
that
put in the address is
over-
1713 South 82nd Street and apartment number
over the
7.
last 10 years, I've looked at software all over the place, whether it be recruiting software,
And do you
bringing some
have
people up, all
an
this other
email
stuff. The
that you
problem
like
that
to use?
universally
or
occurs is
you really
this.
don't use email much?
That stuff's not made for salespeople or agents.
That's okay.
Because it's not made by them.
Yes.
Right? They go, oh, this is great. Well, it's great if you're an actuary or recruiter that's never sold it. It doesn't do the things I need it to do. I'm an agent. I'm a salesperson.
You're a female.
I need to be able to sell. And going through even the quote engines themselves, it's all ACA based, weird blocky stuff. And you know, it's good. It's good for what it can be.
April birthday.
Right.
I
I mean, it's a good effort, but it just doesn't.
Are you
Doesn't
a
have the flow, doesn't
tobacco
have the feel,
user?
doesn't have the capabilities that I actually need. And it costs a
Okay.
lot. And the problem is, you know, is that
Well,
people
you know,
just don't.
my brother, my older
I'm listening
brother
to
and
you.
sister, both smoked for years.
You know,
And
for
that was probably the
thousands
hardest
of
thing
years, people lived
ever
in
to do.
houses,
Eventually
squalor, and
break
everything.
and quit,
They're
but,
just the way the world is,
Yeah.
right? And they didn't know.
you know,
any
it was really hard.
Right.
And
And the problem is though, this is BS, this is BS. Who's saying it's BS? Who's seen it?
So many people.
Because I can tell you
That's a
right
good
now.
point.
Yeah, I mean, when
Seen it
they're trying.
Right.
Four of them, four
So-
people have that I know of.
Right. So why don't we take a look at who actually has a vested interest in saying that it's not good? Because I can tell you right now, if you're really that worried about it,
Yeah,
where
well.
we haven't really heavily
Yeah,
marketed
we have a
this,
good
we haven't really done anything like, oh my God, it's, well, then what's your vested interest?
I don't
Because
think,
I wanna know,
I have
how do you
lost
know?
my
You
parents,
haven't seen it.
But that's
Number
something
two,
you
are
kind
you worried?
of eventually expect that that's.
And if you're worried, why are you worried? What value are you giving to your agents? What value, how are you helping them sell?
Yes.
How are you earning? How are you earning
It's just
that
not
away?
the same.
That brings up a really good question I want to ask you, because what I don't see is you being like, I don't want to take my agent's 8%, right? You hear, I don't want to take my agent's 8%, they might get recruited, right?
Yeah,
Or
it's
we don't
just
want
like
people
you
coming
feel
into
like
the
you
office
fall
and training because they might recruit them.
You know,
What,
I know
why do you
that-
not like
Oh my dad,
If you can recruit away from us, then we haven't done our job right. And why don't know what I hire people away that are fantastic at what they do for the rest of the industry? These guys out here can go talk to any agent at 8% and either learn something from them or teach something to another agent. So if that's the case, why am I going to my that? It's the same reason why a lot of people out there, they don't realize, like, these guys didn't realize that all companies get trips. Our agents qualify for 2 maybe 3 trips a year from the different carriers. Why wouldn't I want to send you an all-expense 5-star vacation at no cost to me?
Yeah, you know,
Right? Why? Because I'm afraid they're going to steal you away from me. And if I'm afraid they're going to take you
in
away
that
from me,
50 years.
I know I'm not giving you the chance. I'm really not doing it for you. And I just hope that you don't screw the world out. So, hey,
Can you hear us?
if that happens, so be it. That's our fault, not their agents. Right? So,
So on the flip side, let's say anybody that's watching this right now and they are coming to 8% to whether they just started or they're not happy with their current company, what are 3 things that they should do to find a new home? Like I was talking to Emily Trevino yesterday, and she was saying, people really overlook the idea of interviewing multiple uplands. And I was like, wow, that's a really good point. A lot of people don't think. They think, I met somebody once, or my cousin did it this way, so that's the way I should do it. What's some advice for new agents coming in and they're like, how do I find out this, right? Because everybody's promising you the moon. How do you sit through that?
Well, just understand that most field marketing agents out there, they are field marketing agents who commit contract organizations that are contracted by carriers to go get their contracts with carrier contracts with as many agents. All right, so it's not a model that's actually geared towards building agent efficiency or excellency in what they do and making a lot of money for the agents themselves. It's about mass and just get the contract and whatever. If they ask
And
you
we
for
hear
help,
that, we'll put 100 agents up and we'll have, what's the number, 8, 6, or 10,
And if you're the agency owner, you're not interested. So number one, look for people who have done it recently. I don't care what you did 30 years ago when your granddad set up this place. I don't care. Right? What have you done? What have you taught me? I don't care if you have a jet. Especially if you sold your company for $1 million. I don't care. The software and all that stuff's great, right? But I've seen lots of companies with the best software in the world in their industry still fail because they don't have any support on how to make those things. So you have to look at people that actually have the capability and knowledge to help you in what you're doing directly, and not just academically. They can't just have read a Zig Ziglar book and pull it out, different one-line closers. All right, we all get it. Everyone's watched Boiler Room, and everyone goes, "Oh yeah, you can say that crap." Or Glenn Gary, Glenn Ross. None of that crap applies. Just don't. So look at the people who are $1 million producers in personal production, and also watch out for guys. I hear this all the time now. My agency, I've sold. And when you look at it, their personal production is 0. They just recruited a bunch of people. So watch out for that. I mean,
It's something
I don't know what else to say other than just find the best value for you. Who's willing to give you that? Who's willing to actually give it to you, and not just for the purpose of signing you up. A lot of places out there have stuff where you can contract with 1 or 2 carriers, and it's all digital. Great. Who else can actually put in the work to actually go ahead and be contracted with whoever you want money with?
Yeah.
Who's giving you the resources?
That's a great point, guys.
Yeah.
Because I have a lot of students that get help. They're like, I don't have any, I have 1 contract or 2 contracts, and I need the other one, but I don't have them. We've been in paperwork for 6 months.
So look at transparency. Who's going to be transparent? Right? If they don't have a contract, they should still show you what's out there so you know what you're up against. And say, get all these other contracts, I don't have this one, you can go get that one from this place. It's a big world. And who's the number 1 dog in the market right now? It's not going to be the number 1 dog next year.
Yeah.
Might as well get it, right? Get those. Understand that carriers,
And some of it will go to
they're
your
not
office.
bad, right? Right?
We'll save a few bags, we're gonna make sort
They
everything
contract
out.
out to organizations to get contracts.
Okay.
They don't really have it on the sales stations. They have it for 30 years. You're not going to get advice from them. You have to seek out guidance from people who have success in the things that you want to do, right? I mean, we're going to start training packages here shortly. I mean, of course, I'm going to say I would highly suggest you take our coaching.
Guys, let's transition out there just because I'll be able to hear you guys better. It's just so loud in here. There's no way that anyone can hear this. So it's okay. Guys, the dojo is out here if you guys want to join us. Cool? It is just so impossibly loud in there.
All right. Well, one of the things I want to, that's a flattering angle. So here. One of the things that I point out all the time, and anybody that's heard me speak has said it, the word value, used it a couple times, find the right value for you. Does the pillow make me look skinnier? Facebook, let me know in the comments. No, don't let me know.
I'll make you look skinny by proxy.
Don't let me know. I was just joking. I don't care. But I talk about that a lot. You know, people say, well, if you bring value and find, you said in particular, find the right value for you. Break that down. I like to break it down into like, what is it? Educational value? Is it entertainment value? This office is very entertaining.
Yeah.
Is it, you know, what kind of value are you looking for, or should agents be looking for?
Well, that's the thing. You just hit the nail on the head what you said. You know, finding the right value. And that kind of goes back to what we said earlier. It's not that these organizations don't want to provide value. They do. They just don't know what value to provide or how to provide it. It's a matter of perspective, right? If I'm a field marketing organization, my value is to the carrier to go get a lot of contracts.
Mhm.
If I'm an agent out there, my value is to give the best possible service to my clients so I can get more clients. But there's a disconnect there as to what they actually have to do to get that done. There absolutely is. There are two different models and mindsets. One's selling a contract, the other one's actually selling insurance, right? And one's trying to sell opportunity for, oh, well, we have the best rates and this. It's all plan G's. It's all plan X. It's all plan X, right? So if you're looking at the value, what can they actually offer? Well, if my value that I need to get is learning how to shorten the cycle from where I can actually start making money and getting good sales in and, you know, do better than breaking even on lead cost, then you're going to want to talk to another agent, an agency who's done it before, right? Or is currently doing it now. That's unfortunately not a lot of what's out there. I mean, I wish it was. I mean, I wish it was been a lot easier for us in the past. I mean, when I think about how much money has been left on the table over the years because we had to go out and develop this stuff ourselves, and in the time frame of looking around and finally going, wait a minute, we have this. Okay, how do we get it to where it can be available to more people? That's one thing. I get hit a lot. I get beat up a lot because I'm kind of blunt and I have almost no censor as to what I should say. Because everyone kind of goes into this world. They go, be nice, be nice, be nice. But for me, it seems like it's a cocktail party where everyone is on the take or something bad's happening and no one wants to talk about it. Mm-hmm. The industry is in real trouble right now because agents aren't able to make a lot of money. And it used to be where if you went into insurance, you went into insurance to make a lot of money. And I see a whole lot of great agents out there making $50,000 a year. And while that's a livable wage, it's not great money for the actual field this is.
Yeah.
And quite frankly, I think that is because the technological hurdle. I think it's because of the training hurdle.
Yes, I would 100% agree with that.
And it's been so long term. It's been so long that new sales professionals, like when I first started, you would have top tier professionals. Insurance in this field was where you went to retire. Mm-hmm. You would be handling multi-million-dollar books of business for software as a service, multi-million-dollar business for, you know, financial services. And you go, oh, I finally found this thing and I can go here. They've stopped doing it because they've gotten so far away since from what I've learned in the 90s of availability of training and know-how to actually do the sales. And they've also gotten away from any technical aspects. So they just started hiring mass amounts of stuff and hoping that one or two of them will stick or one or two of them will produce. That's not sustainable, and it hasn't been for a long time. So now you have these conferences coming out where thousands of people are literally like, how can I make more money at this? They like what they do. And the issue that you run into is that it's not hard if you know where to look.
Here, come sit here. It'll make you look stupid.
There. But it's not hard if you know where to look. It's just not.
Yeah.
I mean, there's always new lead sources. There's always best practices. There's always new things to do everywhere. And if I can get you on the phone with a client, whether you're going to do a face-to-face later or not, as many times as possible, as quickly as possible, I don't care what bells and whistles are in anything. It'll be a good outcome for you. You'll get more reps and more practice. That's what we really specialize in. How do I get you to a 20-year veteran level within 2 or 3 years?
Yeah.
That's what we're really good at. And not just on like, well, this is how you can do ClickFunnels, this is how you can do this is how. No. How do we have a human conversation?
Yes.
How many human conversations can I get you involved in as quickly as possible?
And so many people are trying to skip that step, right? They're like, well, I want it to be, if I want it to be quick, fast, and easy, right? So if you're, in my opinion, I tell people this all the time, if you're in a situation where you're like, I think I want to leave the company I'm with and go find a different company to contract with, that's awesome, but you also need to do a gut check. When was the last time you made calls? When was the last time you talked to a person? Or were you just trying to make the 5x5x5 stick or Lesnick's webinar funnel stick? Are you trying to only shortcut so that you only have inbound? Because I hear people all the time, well, I want more referrals. Well, of course we want more referrals. Would you like to work more referrals?
I would love more referrals.
Right?
Yes.
We all want referrals. But if you've been in the business for 6 months, you're not going to get a ton of referrals. You have to build that up. You have to earn it. You have to earn your stripes. And I see a lot of people trying to skip that part of earning their way into the next steps. You have to start at square one.
You have to. But I mean, you can get out of square one really fast.
Yes.
If you're able to focus on the things that matter, which are the human interaction, take all the other crap out. Also, don't fool yourself into thinking you're actually working if you're not on the phone or in front of customers. You go plan out your routes, you go look at spreadsheets, you go look at, your other team members and KPIs. It's creative avoidance. Get on the phone, call somebody.
Creative avoidance.
Write
that down.
You can, lie to all your team members, lie to all your family that you're working hard. You're not. Just don't lie to yourself about it. It's just garbage.
And we all fall into that trap. I love that term, creative avoidance. Like, you're like, oh, I'm really working on this. I'm working on this. And you're like, you're kind of watching Grey's Anatomy and you're kind of typing. Right. And Jessie Park, who will be at 8%, she tells a story about when she first started selling healthcare. She was like, all right, I have to get my kids to school, right? You got to feed your kids. That's so you can't avoid that. So she would get her children up and she would make them breakfast and then she'd take them to school. Well, then she got home and the kitchen was a mess. She made breakfast and she cleaned the kitchen. And then she was like, okay, well, now the Price is Right is on. So I'm just going to relax. I earned this. I'm just going to relax for a minute. I'll watch the Price is Right. Maybe I'll win a Showcase Showdown, right? Because you kind of feel like you win if you get the...
Right.
Yeah. So, but then, the next show comes on after that. It's been so long since I watched it. And the next thing she knew, it's time to go pick up her kids. And she's like, oh, kick-ass work day, let's go, right? And then she's like, well, I'm not making any money. And she had that real gut check moment. I love hearing her story. And if you're not at 8%, look her up. But I love that she has the guts to tell that.
Right.
Because most people won't.
Well, I use it like this. I want to use it like this. When you are in I don't want to say normal, but when you are in a traditional work setting, you come in, you're at the ground level, and your goal is to create upward mobility for yourself. I want to make money, I want to support my family, but my career drive is I want upward mobility. So I see it as a 180 from where you currently are. You have to turn around and just move forward. But with this type of career, the people that make it, you have to have a 360 perspective. You have to not just look at the potential because it is out there, but you have to be self-reflective of what you're doing in your own craft of being a productive salesman. And that's something that didn't take me long term, but I had to learn that. When you're a new agent, you come in, your mindset is, okay, 180, I'm going to be driven, I'm going to be focused, I'm going to work hard, I'm going to call. And then when you get 2 months and you see the experienced agents making the referrals and doing their thing, and you're like, why am I not getting it? Why is my book of business not growing? Why am I not moving into like? And it's because their mindset is 180. They're just looking forward and they're just turning themselves around and moving forward. But they're not saying to themselves, okay, what has got me to this point? What has worked for me? And Brandon says this a lot. What has worked for me? What has not worked for me? All the way at the granular level of how one particular call went. And when you're able to take all that, even when you have a succession of wins, because in sales, you're going to have currents. When you're able to step back and say, as Brandon says, he's like, when you have those up and down slopes, You want to have that 360 approach to be self-reflective so those slopes shrink because they're going to happen year one. You're going to have them the first 60 days. It's going to be like this. You're going to have a week of like killing it, and then you're going to have a week of nothing. And you're going to say to yourself, what am I doing wrong? And you're doing nothing wrong. But you have to be self-reflective and say, what is not working?
Yeah.
And to go back, you're probably like, yeah, that's true. But there could be a lot more wrong, but it all comes down to your 360 reflection.
The danger that occurs when that first pitfall happens, right? You start getting better and better and better. And usually the people that do that steady climb have a mentor.
Yeah.
Right? Someone that's actually laid the path. They're not the people that just go, hey, you want to buy? Like that's their first call they ever made.
Right.
Right? But what ends up happening is that they get the training wheels off a little bit. Right? Even if they've done this before, they go, well, the system's working out okay, but let's see if I can streamline it and make it more efficient. Well, you don't know what to change yet.
Yeah.
And then you change something, and then you go, okay, now I'm not getting a result, but I don't really remember what I changed. I changed like 4 things. Now you're in panic, or you're just trying to change everything. Next thing you know, you're off the rails. You have to get back to basics very quickly. That's one of the things that we really provide really well is that mentorship. Tell me, we'll sit there and go, okay, tell me what the client said. Okay. How long was the call? Let's look at the call. One call last year. So that's what we should about for a year. So what the client say again? Oh, they got to go check with the doctor. Did you ask that earlier? No, I can go back in 3 or 4 minutes and know that you did. Right? To know what they've done it 10,000 times ago. You got that, so this happened.
Yeah.
You got that, so you did this and this. And be able to do that and break it down because the way humans make decisions doesn't really change that much. So the whole point is, and this is one thing that drives me nuts, people always talk about overcoming objections. The key is, yes, you can get good at overcoming objections, great at overcoming objections. But I learned a long time ago how to avoid them too. And that is the absolute easiest way to do it. And then have a consistent system that you can implement it over and over and over. The variations in the conversation are huge, but the steps I do, time. And we can go talk about, labradoodles for an hour and a half. That's great. But we're going to go back to where I was.
He suggests that. He brings it up before they do.
Yep.
That would be a discussion.
Well, I mean, that or whatever really interesting.
What does Ron Swanson say? It's like, any dog under 50 pounds is a cat.
It's a cat. Cats are useless. Go buy a German Shepherd.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things too. And also there's another factor on this too, and I wanted to get back to it, what you were saying earlier. This is about people finding those creative avoidance distractions. There's a lot of folks that are getting this business that have obligations, they have duties, they're parents, they might have another job, daytime job, and things of that nature. But there's a difference between performing a duty or an obligation that's a part of your personal life and rewarding yourself for that versus doing actual work. And actual work pays you. All right? I'm not going to say that those other duties are not important and absolutely not as difficult as work. Many times they're more difficult. However, when you look at like the reward system, the Price is Right, I'm going to be watching this for the next hour. Or I could be making about $1,200 to $1,300 in this next hour.
Mhm.
Well, is watching Drew Carey make weird jokes on a stage in front of brightly colored stuff worth $1,200 to you?
Well, this was the Bob Barker days. Does that change it?
Oh, okay. Well, maybe worth $800, but not worth that.
Yeah.
I mean, but that's the
Yeah.
Don't date her. No. But yeah, so that's one of the issues is that work gets you money. It's an immediate reward.
What else is kind of cool too is working for this company. We're starting to see a kind of a sea change of agents who have been working with traditional corporations, and they're starting to see the wisdom behind her. So when they start talking to me, and I start explaining to them how we do things here and the freedom and flexibility, we're starting to see agents come over here that have a wealth of experience, realize, oh my goodness, I've been doing it wrong the whole time. I mean, we have agents that have done hundreds of thousands of book of business and sales come to us that are like, why am I not selling? And it's like, well, because you're doing it wrong the whole time, you know?
Yeah.
So when you have this mentorship that is able to come back and mentor in a way that is catered toward what they need. You know, an experienced agent isn't going to need someone over their shoulders. But the mentorship is there when they come to you and say, what am I doing wrong? He can say, this is what you're doing wrong. And that minor little tweak is just going to open the floodgates for them.
And then it's a matter of acceptance and implementation, right? You and I both seen what happens when people don't listen. You have the same trajectory and you'll do okay.
Yeah.
But people that just have that little bit of a tweak, a little bit of a push, and keep on having that reminder. And also get around other people. The key is getting around other people that are also learning and developing on the same track.
Yeah.
Because then it reinforces everybody. That's why I think that group learning, such as the dojos, such as the meetings we hold, the constant feedback, I think that's really important because it's a matter of
And the open floor. I love the open floor. Yeah.
I thought I'd hate it, but I love
No.
it. Can we also talk about how mature I'm being because you said duty 3 times and I didn't laugh?
That's fine.
Well, I mean,
You kept it to yourself. I'm proud
I
of you.
did.
That's good.
This is
it's
like
some
the
real
office.
shit,
Yes.
you know.
Yeah, I get it.
So
I literally, every time my husband says it, I start laughing. He's like, "Are you freaking kidding me?"
Nice.
by the way, okay, so speaking of this,
Somebody said I dressed like a 13-year-old the other day. I'm like,
But
that's
I
my
watched your
humor.
speech. I watched your speech conference about why you dress like that. I thought that was really inspiring. I'm not trying to BS you on the camera, but it was cool to see. Yeah.
I'll give you your $5 later.
All right, cool. Thank you.
so
We can-
by the way, how many
Frank buys the drinks. Everyone knows that.
Oh, is that right?
Jeez, let's not go into that.
Yeah,
I
let's
don't
not
wanna-
go
So
into
I want to tell a quick story,
Okay.
but so you guys can get to know Frank just a hair better. The fun Frank, not the sales Frank isn't fun. But we are at Christian Brendel's conference in Salt Lake City. Have you heard the story?
No.
Okay, so we're there and we're hanging out with a bunch of agents and we're having fun. And I'm like, you guys come on down to the bar and meet some of these agents you haven't met before. So we're down there and we're all having drinks. And then somehow everybody's like, all right, let's go to dinner. So we all get up and walk out. And the next morning, everybody's like, oh, I have Frank a drink. I have Frank a drink. I have Frank money. I'm like, what's happening? Well, all of us just left. Nobody paid the bill. So our poor waitress, I can't remember her name. I know you know it.
Oh,
We knew her name because she knew every single one of our names. And she's like, Sandra and Johnny. And she's like going through all these people that left. And I'm like, those irresponsible little brats. I can't believe they walk out on a bill. Frank's like, you did too.
no, actually, I would
No,
say
it was
this-
a waitress that told me.
No. Actually, you didn't because I told
No,
you
she was clear that I had done it.
No,
Too. I left it.
you accidentally got lumped in because I remember very specifically because I don't drink. And I was just down there to meet agents and talk to them, which I met some fantastic agents down here, especially out of Florida and also Idaho, which is one of my major states.
That'd be Josh.
Yeah. Well, also a gentleman named Dusty who was fantastic.
Dusty Boots.
That's
Dusty
not
Boots
his name.
Clements. Yes, Dusty
Okay, tell me
Boots
what that
Clements.
that
He
made
just
sense.
redid his logo. Wait till you see it.
We were
You'll be
laughing, man.
here.
Dusty. I tell you what, Dusty Clements, that guy is a gem.
Class act.
He's new to the business, but he is, especially because he's in the right area. If you want to actually do a lot of really good phone sales, and if you want to be in an area, be a specialist in an area where there's really not many people. People go, I want to be in the middle of Dallas, Texas, because there's 5 million people. Well, there's also thousands of other agents.
Yeah.
Right? You'll only get a couple hundred of those people. But if you're out in the rural area, there's 3,000 people out there. You know?
Yeah, that's what's gonna be exciting for me for this conference, is because I've been doing this for about 4 years and I've been doing it well. I've learned from great people and I'm still continuing to grow and learn. But I'm just gonna be looking at what people also do. You know, like I'm just gonna be a sponge and I'm gonna be excited to be like, that is a brilliant idea. I'm also gonna be like, that is a dumb idea. You know, like it's gonna be really cool to see like how people run their business nationwide, and I'm gonna be like getting something like this.
I have to dispel this rumor that you're under the wrong notion here because I was talking to your husband at the bar, and the bartender was
The big guy
overwhelmed.
came.
Yeah, big guy came. Love your husband, by the way. He's awesome. But the bartender, she was really good, but she was also training a brand new person. That's their first night, and everyone came in, and everyone's like, "Well, I'll take a double, triple this." And we're in Salt Lake City, so she has to pour 2 drinks because you can't have a double.
Yeah.
So all this stuff's going on, and then you guys have to go, and your husband's trying to pay off the tab. I was like, "You just go, it's fine." And so, no, you didn't walk your tab.
Oh, hey!
it.
You were the
heard
only
it
one
here.
that didn't walk your tab. And I was like, no, I got her. Because you guys didn't drink that much.
Yeah.
I mean, it was you and your husband wasn't drinking at all. And so that was a little thing. Everyone else just went, I know what happened. Everyone else said, oh, you pay? I'll pay. No, I'll pay. I'm not paying. And they went, I guess no. Pay. And they all walked. And then that poor lady, she was just terrified because this is Salt Lake City. And I tell you right now, it's just opened up to alcohol. That's why they're not really good at serving it yet. And just terrified that her week would ruin.
Well, I think this brings up a really good point about the mentorship and the leadership, because her manager was a whip manager.
Oh.
He was on her ass from the second she started her shift. Everything she did was wrong, and she literally, like, we had 75, 90 people in that bar all at one time, and she was the only one that had worked there for a longer period of time. And she had a system that was working. She did every single one of our names. She knew what we drank. And this is, we're not fluffing this up, but her manager was holding her back from being efficient.
Oh, absolutely. And then there was an issue where, I mean, she was really, because at that place she was going to get charged for all those loans. And she was petrified of that. So, I mean, we got it taken care of, and everyone's been really cool about it. But that's also a lesson for leadership on here. If you have people that are driven by fear of the reprisals, they're going to bail on you.
Okay, I gotta jump in here real quick just to tell everybody a real quick story about what happened to me up there. Is I don't drink either, and I ordered an iced tea, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they would not let me order the iced tea from them and walk from the bar over to my table, which was literally 4 or 5 feet away. They had to call a waitress and have the waitress come over and bring the iced tea and deliver it to my table and hand it to me. I couldn't even get my head around that. The complications were lots of complications.
And she had such a good system to make it all happen.
Yeah, she was doing a great job. I remember her literally. She was really nice, really sweet.
She was also prevented from taking.
That's my
story. She was
Love it.
required to go do this, put it in the system.
Doing a good thing for
Instead
yourself.
of going, what do you want? What do you want? What do you want? Put it all in the system. Actually, they couldn't do that, so it's very restrictive on it. Anyway, but I think that's a lesson to learn, which is there's so many people out there that say you have to be successful. You have to do this
way,
right? And I will tell you this: there's a lot of EVPs, VPs, directors, all this other stuff, supervisors, even and managers. They never sold a damn thing. Period. And I find it really offensive that they sit there and look at a KPI chart, which are key performance indicators, not goals. You know, the goal should be sales and retention. How many policies get issued? How many of them stick?
Yeah.
And the duration they stick.
Ooh,
That's how you
how
make
many
your
of
money.
them stick, y'all?
Right.
Gotta track that too.
So I've been in a lot of industries before I came here, and the thing that pissed me off beyond anything else, if I'm the top in the country in the industry I'm in, what do you have to say to me to say, oh, Frank, you cleared everybody else by 30%, but you know more sales? Well, you didn't spend as much time on the phone and make some more dollars. Well, and that's not the way it works, right? And by the way, if it works for like the CEOs of banks globally, if it works for Fortune 500 companies, and it's going to work for mom and pa sitting across the table from, take your time. Do discovery. Understand that doing discovery and it goes hand in hand with rapport building. I hear all the time people are like, well, I'm good at building rapport or I'm good at discovery. Well, if you do them both at the same time, because people love to talk about themselves and they know that if you're interested in them and you're asking those questions and you're doing it in a great way, an earnest way, you are building rapport by doing your discovery. You can do multiple things at once with one sentence.
Yeah. I've been on both sides of the fence. I've been in corporate Medicare and I've been in this. And I'll tell you this, corporate Medicare would love to have this model.
Yeah.
They would love to have it. And the crazy thing is that it can be done.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is that upward mobility where you're getting your 250 or you're getting your big go bucks, being a vice president overseeing a department. Why would you have that in this place when you can work with people individually and make that, if not more, by doing what we do. It's crazy.
Here's the biggest problem with that, is that once those guys get up to that certain scale and the way they structure their floors is fundamentally flawed. Because once you get to large groups like that, you have like a manager running 30 or 40 people, you're going to have a follow-up. The scalability issue comes into place. All right. And that scalability means you're spending a lot more money and getting a lot less return per person. And a very small fraction of your floor is producers at that point.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of exposure too, because like the reason I enjoy being a mentor and really growing with this company is because everyone sees what I'm doing. Everyone knows exactly what I'm doing. I'm not trying to hide anything. I'm not trying to implement anything behind the scenes. I'm not going to people I'm working with and saying, I'll get back to you. I'm going to work with my leadership team and we'll come up together with a plan.
Yeah.
It's like, no, we are taking care of this out in the open. I am working on, these are the people that I'm bringing on. Brandon's like, who are the people that you're talking to? I have all the notes and I have everything there. And then I bring the people on that are quality. And then I also work with the agents in improving training. Like, it's all out in the open. And that's what I think people like about this place, is because there's no contrivance. It's not like this, upfront, like, oh yes, I'm very important, I care about you, but there is a closet that I gotta work behind that you don't need to know about.
And it's fluid. Like our leadership meetings are what, half an hour? Like this is what I got going on, because everything's handled on the fly.
Yeah.
And handled on the fly. I was gonna quit right before my first performance review. That was my plan in my head, because I hate getting performance reviews. And I think Buckley or Brandon mentioned, we don't do performance reviews. And I was like, oh, good, then I'm going to quit. Okay. Because I hate a performance review.
Are you accomplishing
I don't need to get a compliment sandwich.
The bottom line is are you accomplishing mission? That's it. That's all that matters.
But what I see you guys do is, like you're saying, like, okay, you're not accomplishing the goal of closing these sales. We're going to solve that right now.
We're
not going to have a performance review in 60 days and be like, well, it turns out for the last 60 days, you've been really shitty at closing.
No. You handle it right now. Because this is
where do you want to be? Are you there? No? Let's figure it out.
Yeah.
Agents and salespeople can't afford not to make sales.
Yeah.
All right. That's why there's a critical juncture in this. That's why the ramp-up time is so important. That's why eliminating ramp-up time is of critical importance. Because people that get sales and want to get into Medicare and that means they go into a rule-based system, right? That means there's a high overhead.
Yeah.
And it could be an overhead of time and lead resources. It used to be technology. Still is technology.
Yeah. Fixing to solve that one.
Yeah. Right. And also it's availability.
Thursday.
I mean, I get it. There's some great programs. By the way, I'm a hard on FMOs. There's some good ones out there.
Oh, yeah.
Very, very few good ones. No, I mean, I'm talking, there's some, I won't roll sauce because I don't have permission to consider anything out there. But I'll tell you what, there are some in our local area that we have long-standing relationships with, and because we've hung out with them, and they know us, they know you, and they're great. Because they also were very successful in doing this years ago, and they know their stuff. But those are few and far between, right? And if by the way, if you're hearing this, I think he's talking about me. I am. And saying, I don't think he's talking about me. Then I am. All right. I am not talking about you. So, and by the way, if I piss someone off, they want to get defensive about it, let them. I mean, that's okay. We're not here to make friends. We're here to make money.
It's okay to have
clients.
It's okay to have differences and work through them and see if there's a light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah. I mean, or just provide a better service. Yeah. Just provide a better service. I'm a capitalist, so I'll just provide a better service in the market side.
Yeah.
That's the key. You can get as defensive and mad about it as you want, but we're providing a better system and a better service, and the market's going to decide.
Yeah.
So, I mean, people can talk about certain things, but realistically speaking, I know our system works because I've sold a lot of Medicare supplement on it.
Well, and that takes us back completely full circle to where we started when I said, talking about the sister company insurance sales and people saying, why would you want this tech stack? For some people, it's going to be free for single agents, which you guys will hear more about on Thursday. But we've come full circle. The good people you're talking about, the good companies you're talking about, our sister company insurance sales. The one thing everybody has in common is they're saying, I have knowledge, I have these tools, and I want to give it to as many people as I can to try to help lift people up. And that's the common value I see in all of these companies is yes, we're still trying to feed our families. Yes, we're still trying to build a business, but we're also going to give our educational value, our technology value. We're trying to help agents realize that we're all in this together, and together we can change the industry from the big ones that are kind of mucking it up.
Well, here's the thing. I don't think the big ones want to muck it up. It's just the system's been ingrained for so long that it's the new normal, and it's been the normal for a generation. And when things go on for more than a generation, no one knows what it was like before. So all those old agents that remember the good old days, they're dying.
Yeah. Literally.
Right? So this new world in which we live it isn't good. It's not healthy.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's a lot of organizations say we want to uplift agents. They have great mission statements.
Mhm.
Right?
Yeah. But you can tell the ones that are doing it.
You can tell the ones that are doing it. But ultimately speaking, is that how do you capitalize on it, right? Because still you make money to put on the laptop. There's a lot of people out there that have gotten really, really good at making a lot of money telling other people what they should do.
Mm-hmm.
There's not a whole lot out there that actually still do.
Yep.
And I find that sad because the world's awash in information and recycled in what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And to be honest, there's not a new concept in sales that hasn't been explored a million times. I mean, it's what it is, but how do you distort it and apply it is very, very wrong.
Yeah.
And the different models and stuff like this. If I wanted to listen to an accountant or an actuary talk about the most efficient way to make a sale, I'd be on the phone for 5 minutes getting told no 500 times a day until someone says yes. Right? And there are guys that do that. And there are guys that make a little bit of money on that. But when you're looking at lead cost, $50, $60, $70 now because the big dogs came in and ruined the market for leads.
Mm-hmm.
You have the lead aggregators, the ones that just launder the leads 5 times. You have ones that will take one customer inquiry and then send it through a system where there's lead gen form and go, I know I promised you prices, but go ahead and check on these guys too. And I'll get back to you with your prices. And by the time that person's done that, lead has been sold 5 times, 3 to 5 times. That company that did it, generated it, is called it. Now they've sold it to 3 to 5 other agencies, and all those people have called it 3 to 5 times.
Yeah.
And each click has been in a cycle. That means that person's been called 50 times by the time you get a hold of them.
And
How
it's
happy are
a
they?
person.
It's one person. And the industry itself has laundered that person and turned them into 40 leads.
Yeah.
And they're charging $50 a lead. Right? Or at worst, they could be charging $5, $6 a click. Well, how's that healthy for anyone?
Yeah.
I mean, that's just a way to extract money and revenue. So we can talk about that all day, but the entire system. We can talk about it. I don't have enough time to figure out who the good actors are.
Yeah.
I just don't. I don't have time to sort through bullshit. Because I'm busy, right?
Yeah.
I don't have time to be here.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm busy. I'm running the floor. I'm still making sales myself. I made the first sale. Oh, second sale.
But it is good to break away and come to these conferences, and nobody's ever going to change my mind on that one, because you do get to see that because we get into our bubbles. You know, when you're working in an office, it's a little bit different setting, but you get to shake hands and see other people having the same problems and learn something and make some new friends and all that cool stuff too.
But there's also, at these conferences I've seen in the past, right? And in other conferences, especially like other ones, and I won't go into their exact names because we still go to them in industry insiders. Other conferences out there have been a case of you'll get a lot of vendors and you'll get a lot of thought leaders, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what will end up happening is that a lot of times, especially after the big speeches are done and stuff, a lot of times they'll break out and they'll kind of circle the wagons and they'll start talking to each other. And they've been removed enough from the situation long enough to where if an agent goes up to them, they're great at actually engaging them. But I don't see a whole lot of outreach to agents, right? Not a whole bunch of people going, hey, let me go find the guys that are sitting over there in that corner and who just started their new brokerage out of Tulsa.
Yeah.
And just talk to them about their life and figure it out and help it out, right? I don't see a whole lot of that. And I know it's hard because you don't want to dedicate your time to people, but we need to start talking to agents. And we need to actually not speaking at them. Talk to them.
And that is a good segue because we're getting the wrap up sign because I am going to do a free training live in insurance sales today on exactly how to network at events. We're doing you on that.
I'm
And
cool with it.
how
Have you seen
to-
his face? That's why I talk on the phone.
That's why he buys the drinks. It's like just buy a round of drinks, everybody loves you.
much,
But
yeah.
this was fun. It's hot in Texas, so I'm going back outside.
Yeah.
We'll see you guys at 2:00 Central Standard Time inside Insurance Sales. Give away my top 3 tips on how to network with these things. So I'm just gonna keep. Buckley's trying to wrap it up. Like you
Bye.
can see his finger right there, and I just keep talking so he can't
I'm
stop
sweaty.
it. Bye, guys.